Good morning. Welcome to another edition of Take 5. We are moving right along. We are on August 29th, so Monday, 2011, and we are in Mark chapter 9. And you know, I had one of my fantasy football drafts last night, and of course, when you're dealing with fantasy football drafts or just sports in general, a lot of times the question is, who's the greatest? Who's the best? And that's the question that Jesus answers for us today. Who is the greatest in his kingdom? Mark chapter 9 verse 33. And they came to Capernaum, and when he was in the house, he asked them, "What were you discussing on the way?" But they kept silent, for on the way they had argued with one another about who was the greatest. And he sat down and called the 12, and he said to them, "If anyone would be first, he must be last of all and servant of all." And he took a child and put him in the midst of them, and taking him in his arms, he said to them, "Whoever receives one such child in my name receives me, and whoever receives me receives not me, but him who sent me." Who's the greatest? Jesus said it's the servant. The one we would consider last is who Jesus considers first. I'm very blessed. I have two jobs, and both of them are service type jobs, so I guess Jesus is saying my job is the greatest. But much more important than what you do for your job is what you do in the kingdom. Are you a servant? Do you serve people? Do you come to church? Do you participate in worship services? Are you involved in God's kingdom so you could get noticed? So you could get applause? So people could say how great you are? Or do you do it so you can lift others up? So you can build other people up? So you can help other people, encourage other people? You know, one of my favorite people, I read his autobiography, his biography, is Ed McMahon. I think Ed McMahon's a tremendous example because Ed McMahon spent most of his career making somebody else look good. Ed McMahon was happy being the number 2 guy to Johnny Carson, and then later to, no, I guess he didn't do Jay Leno, just Johnny Carson. But he made himself look good. And I'll tell you who else are my favorite people are cheerleaders. Because cheerleaders aren't there for their own glory. They're there to support the team, to get the fans to support the team. It's all about the team. It's all about the team's success and the team's victory. And they stay positive even if there's no reason to be positive. The team down 42-0, they're still cheering. Let's go, let's go, let's go. These are some of my favorite people. They're servants. They're not the quarterback. They're not the one getting the applause, getting the attention. You know, the reporters don't go interview the cheerleader after the game on TV, but they were part of it. So, let me ask you, maybe you could be a cheerleader for somebody. You see somebody struggling, go in their life and be a cheerleader. You see somebody that needs some help, be a servant to that person. Build somebody up. Be willing to be a second place person or a third place person, or as Jesus said, the last place person. That's, in his eyes, you're the greatest. You're not going to get that kind of attention and applause here, but you'll get it there, and it's much more important, and you'll get it from him even now. And the other point here is he talks about children, and I think it goes right along with it, because we don't consider children as important maybe or as great as adults, but Jesus said, look, you want to be great, you welcome the children. And the way it goes right along with service is, one of the greatest needs we have in a lot of our churches is in the teaching ministry with the children. A lot of times we don't want to be in there with the children, but Jesus was always teaching children, and he loved children. So there is a tremendous opportunity to serve. Ask some of the people involved in the teaching ministry at your church, do they need some help? Do they need some volunteers? Do they need people to be in there in the classes and teach these children? And I think you'll find most of the time they'd say, yes, we'd love to have you. So I would encourage you to do that and be part of that. You'll be blessed. I'm going to tell you, every time I've done it, I'm blessed way more than the children are. So two primary things today if you want to be great. Be a servant and love the children. All right? Pretty simple. Come back tomorrow for the next edition of Take 5.